Morning San Antonio starts right now.
And a good morning to you. It is Thursday. It is March 9th. And what would I do without my co-anchor, Stephanie Cerna? I just realized my dry cleaning tag was sticking up in the very back. So thank goodness we faced forward.
Yes.
Any shot like this, everybody at home would have been like, tell him his tag's sticking out.
I hope you're more comfortable now.
I am, yes.
Good,
the staple's
good.
no longer digging into my neck. Thank you
well, then
very
happy
much.
Thursday to you.
RJ, do you want that?
He's like, I'm good.
Okay. All right. Anyway, let's jump right into the newscast. David Sears is standing by over there. He's going to have headlines coming up.
Yeah.
And Justin Horn is here with a pollen count. Give us some good news.
I wish I could. I could. We're going to start with pollen count because of the oak count. You can see the oak leaves are starting to fall. It's all underway. So you're going to start to see the catkins soon, and the oak pollen is starting to spread. The numbers are up this morning. We're up into the high category, 810, the highest count so far this season. And it has been steadily climbing. Molds, hackberry, and mulberry are also on the list today, but oak remains the big story. Let's go outside for you. We've got mostly cloudy skies, humid conditions, 72. For as consistent as it has been this week, we finally get some changes showing up tonight and tomorrow, and the forecast becomes more like a yo-yo, for lack of a better term. We'll be switching between dry and humidity and warm and slightly cooler, so just keep that in mind as we move forward. The forecast for today, 79 by noontime, 83 by 2 o'clock, and then we're into the mid-80s this afternoon. So again, almost a carbon copy of yesterday. But what begins to change is a cold front slides in later tonight. That brings in some rain chances and again cools us down for tomorrow. Tomorrow's forecast looks a little bit better. We'll take a look at that plus the weekend. We've also got to look at the forecast down along the coast if that is in your plans for spring break. That's coming up in just a bit. Let's go over to RJ now and check in on your traffic. Good morning, sir.
All right. Good morning, Justin. Yeah, bad news for oak sufferers like myself, but good news here out on our roadways is things have been pretty smooth for the most part throughout our morning. A stalled vehicle there at 35 and South Cross, but not too busy so far out there on the roads, and definitely was getting some spring break vibes this morning because it seemed like maybe, I don't know, some people may have been starting out their spring break a little bit early. There are some stalls and disabled vehicles you need to kind of let you know about. This is the I-10 westbound and Loop 410 intersection. This is already, we all know, a very busy area, the Balcones Heights, Crossroads Boulevard area. So just be careful if you're headed in this area. This is off to the shoulder, so no major delays there, even though we are seeing some traffic buildup, which is usually the case in that area. All right, let's take you out to the northeast side here. Another stalled vehicle out here in the southbound lanes of I-35 at Loop 1604. So this is around the Forum area. So people heading into the San Antonio area from Schertz, Selma, Cibolo, this is something that you guys will need to kind of keep an eye on throughout the rest of this hour. But again, things looking pretty good out there for the most part. And look at this one here, Loop 410, WW White, traffic moving smoothly on your Thursday morning. Mark and Stephanie, back to you guys.
Thank you, RJ. New this morning, an active investigation in Seguin today after an early morning shooting between law enforcement and a suspect.
It all began with Seguin police trying to make a traffic stop just before 2 a.m. near State Highway 123 and Mockingbird Lane. The driver of the vehicle refused to stop, leading officers to the area of South Milam and Live Oak before coming to a stop.
3 people were inside the vehicle. The 2 passengers complied with officers, but the driver did not. The passengers told officers the driver had a gun on him. And around 3 a.m., Guadalupe SWAT negotiators arrived and tried to talk to the man and get him to comply with law enforcement.
Those discussions failed, and that's when gas was deployed to try and get the driver to come out. Around 4:45 a.m., shots were fired between the driver and law enforcement, and during the shooting, the driver was killed.
Now, these are details we've received from the Seguin Police Department. As soon as we learn any more, we'll be sure to pass those along to you.
We have also learned this morning that a second body was found during the search for twin boys who disappeared in the water off of Pleasure Pier in Galveston.
Galveston Island Beach Patrol told our sister station KPRC that someone walking on the beach yesterday found the body about 10 feet from the shoreline. Authorities said the body matched the description of the remaining missing twin. His brother was found dead in the early morning hours of Tuesday.
The 13-year-old twins, Jefferson and Josue Perez, were last seen on the west side of the pier Sunday afternoon. Family members said they did not see them go underwater and that the boys reportedly did not know how to swim.
Here is today's 9 at 9. Russia is claiming progress in Ukraine after another round of missile attacks. It comes as the director of U.S. intelligence says she doesn't believe Russian forces will make major territorial gains this year. But she also says Russian President Vladimir Putin could hold out for years to come. Also clear, Ukrainian forces aren't backing down.
The bodies of the 2 Americans killed during a kidnapping in Mexico are expected to be brought back to the U.S. today. A medical examiner in Mexico completed a forensic exam to determine their causes of death yesterday morning. A second autopsy will be done once the bodies are in the U.S. As for the other 2 Americans who were found alive, one returned home yesterday, and the other, who was injured, is still being treated in a hospital here in Texas.
2 subjects came up during a hearing on U.S. national security threats, the origins of COVID, and TikTok. FBI Director Christopher Wray was questioned on whether the Chinese-owned social media app could censor videos to shape U.S. public opinion and whether Americans' data could be given to the Chinese government. As for where COVID came from, there are 2 leading theories: that the virus evolved naturally or that it was leaked from a lab in Wuhan, China.
Charges will not be filed against the 6-year-old in Virginia who shot his first-grade teacher 2 months ago. Attorneys say they don't believe the law supports charging and convicting a 6-year-old with aggravated assault. It's not clear if anyone else will be charged in the case.
President Biden will unveil his budget this afternoon in Philadelphia. The White House says the proposal will lower costs for families, reduce the deficit, and bolster Social Security and Medicare. But some Republicans are skeptical, saying spending is still out of control.
The top Republican in the U.S. Senate is in the hospital after a serious fall. A spokesperson says Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell tripped at a hotel in Washington, D.C. last night during a private dinner. No word on the extent of his injuries or how long it may take him to recover. He is the 3rd senator to be hospitalized in recent weeks.
California, which is already buried under a blanket of snow, is now bracing for flooding rains. Parts of northern California are bracing for up to 8 inches of rain. Meanwhile, in the Sierra Nevada mountains, forecasters expect heavy rain and more snow in higher elevations, along with 100-mile-per-hour winds.
Job openings in the U.S. dropped in January. The Bureau of Labor Statistics reported that the number of available positions fell to 10.8 million in January, down from 11.23 million in December. The January report also showed that hiring increased while layoffs surged. The number of people who quit their jobs also dropped.
For the first time in 31 years, Adidas is facing an operating loss. The shoemaker says it will lose about $736 million this year due to unsold Yeezy stock. In October, the company broke off its lucrative 9-year partnership with Yeezy designer Kanye West. The split happened after he made a series of anti-Semitic remarks. And that's today's 9 at 9. In your morning headlines, college basketball coach resigns after reciting a Bible verse to his players. It is what the verse referred to that got him into trouble. More disruptions on planes. The head of the FAA has been asked to explain.
And Vegas has a new landmark. Yes, it lights up. David Sears is here to explain all of this.
Okay, I'm going to refer to you when I get done with that story on your judgment of this new landmark.
Okay.
Okay.
I was rather disappointed.
All right, we'll see.
It's Vegas.
Okay.
We'll see what you guys think. But first, let's start with this. Texas Tech looking for a new head men's basketball coach after Mark Adams resigned last night. He didn't want to continue to be a distraction. The second-year coach had already been suspended after he recited a Bible verse to players who he was trying to get to be more receptive to his coaching. And therein lies the problem. The verse mentioned workers, teachers, parents, and slaves serving their masters. Athletic Director Kirby Hocutt said the comments were inappropriate, unacceptable, and racially insensitive and suspended Adams. Adams has said that his comments were not racist, and he was using a verse about how there is always a master and servant. Hocutt determined it was an isolated incident, but Adams decided to step down. On the court, his team was 16-15 this year. They only won 5 conference games as well. He was not coaching last night when they lost to West Virginia in the first round of the conference tournament. If you don't like fighting, you may want to turn away. These are passengers boarding a Southwest flight parked in Dallas. This happened Monday. Guy in the black coat is the one that's about to get punched. You can see the other guy. He's back up here, and what? Here he comes. You see that? Got him right there. The other passengers were just trying to break it up. Now, by throwing the punch, she claimed that the other guy bumped into his wife when he was boarding the plane and that set him off. The puncher said he was protecting his family. This is passenger cell phone video. You're watching other passengers try to get in and separate the two. The two eventually left the plane. Dallas police responded, but no arrests were made. That flight left on time to Phoenix, and that leads us to this. What you just saw seems to be happening a lot more these days. Passengers losing it for whatever reason, and couple that with planes clipping wings on the ground and more incidents in the air. All this happening before the major travel season of the summer, and that means it is time for the director of the FAA to appear before Congress and answer some questions.
What the heck is going on in air travel? Zero tolerance policy around unruly passengers, misconduct in the air. It is just simply not allowed.
We've got airlines scheduling us to the maximums. They're reducing pilot training. They are basically running along a barbed wire fence right up to the maximums, and we shouldn't be surprised when we see these safety seals start to leak.
Yeah, a lot of the airlines have workers that are retiring, like pilots, and they're trying to fill those vacancies. So there's a lot of new people and a lot of training going on right now. And finally, a new attraction in Las Vegas. They are the Gateway Arches. They stand 80 feet tall, light up at night in all different kinds of colors. There's an observation deck for pictures or selfies or whatever you prefer. The arches opened this week at a cost of $6.5 million. Those LEDs are apparently pretty expensive. Located outside the Strat Hotel, it's the entrance to the city. I saw the video just when I was getting ready to do the story, and I went, that's it? That's all you got?
Well, maybe it'll look better at night.
Right.
You know,
Right.
maybe it'll be more impressive at night.
I saw a picture. I don't know if we had the picture. There was a picture of them lit up at night, and I still said, that's it? That's all you got?
Okay.
Well, I guess
It's Vegas.
because everything else is like lit up all over the place, maybe.
So you're kind of underwhelmed considering the rest of Vegas is pretty
Very underwhelmed.
much of a spectacle.
And they got nothing against the arts in St. Louis. You know,
Well,
I mean, that's the gateway to
their
the West.
thing, right.
This is just the gateway to Vegas. So, you know, but I was like, that's
Well, maybe they're going to add on to it over the years.
that's what you get for $6.5 million
Well,
in Vegas.
LED lights.
That sign
Okay.
shall stay in Vegas.
Okay.
Thank you, David.
All right.
9:10, about 72 degrees.
Here's a look at what's coming up next.
The Alamo is kicking off National Reading Month in a big way. Check it out. They are inviting the community and visitors to this new exhibit featuring this giant book. Who's behind this book and the stories it holds? Coming up next.
The largest published book in the world by kids has arrived to the Alamo to kick off National Reading Month.
Tiffany Huertas joins us live from the Crockett Building across the street from the Alamo Church with how this traveling exhibition hopes to inspire the youth. Good morning, Tiffany.
Good morning, Mark and Stephanie. If you like to read, this is for you. Check it out. How incredible is this? 7-foot tall book, weighs nearly 500 pounds, has 400 pages, and the stories, poetry, and artwork are by kids. We have Jonathan to talk a little bit more about this new exhibition. Good morning. Talk to us about what can people find here.
Well, Tiffany, thank you for stopping by. Here at the Alamo, we thought, what better way than to kick off National Reading Month and spring break next week than to have the largest published book in the world, the Lone Star size I Am Texas. It's a breathtaking book written by 1,000 students from around the state of Texas through 80 school districts, and it's all stories, artwork, and poems centered in and around the great Lone Star State.
Who made this possible? Who's behind this?
So I Write and the Bryan Museum, a partnership out of both Houston and Galveston, brought this to life. And it's really important that we have it here with a Reading Month and spring break because we get about 140,000 students at the Alamo annually. And we're really excited for them to immerse themselves more in their Texas history here on the grounds of the Alamo.
And we also have something special over here. Can you show us what we can also find in this area?
While we do have the very large book, we also have a digital iPad, so you can scroll through, see the 1,000 individual artwork, poems, and stories that are available to read here when you can visit. And the book will be on display from March 9th today till April 30th. And I'm really excited to state that there are some San Antonio authors that are in this book, and they will be on the grounds tomorrow at 10 a.m. to read some of their short stories.
And I have a feeling a lot of people are going to get excited because this is all for the kids and this is a perfect place to come for spring break. And we're going to talk more with you and we're going to have that story coming up on the noon show, but we'll send it back to you.
Thank you, Tiffany. Quite impressive.
Let's go outside with live cam. 72 degrees at San Antonio International Airport. Justin joins us now. It looks like there's a little pocket of cooler air kind of hanging up to the north.
Yeah, it's been interesting to see how the North Texas has been cold. We've been warm. Everything changes though as we get into tonight and tomorrow. So we finally will get some changes, and it'll be kind of back and forth. So to keep you on your toes, you'll want to check back with us frequently on the KSAT weather app. I know a lot of people are in town for spring break. Welcome if you're visiting San Antonio. Here's what we can tell you, that we are going to get some cooler air as we head into tomorrow. We've been watching that cold air gather across North Texas. And this front, by the way, kind of washes out. But there's a secondary push that moves in our direction tonight. You look at the temperatures across the state, there is still a disparity here. 49 Amarillo, 48 in Lubbock, and the warm stuff is still down across South Texas. 72 here in San Antonio, 76 in Corpus Christi. And as we go outside for you, you can see we've got mostly cloudy skies and still a lot of humidity too, with south-southeasterly winds at about 8 miles per hour. 73 right now at Stinson, 72 Kelly, 71 at Randolph. And temperatures will continue to warm up, especially now that we are seeing some sun, starting to see those peaks of sun showing up right around town. And with clouds not completely filled in here, as you go west, it is cloudy though. Rock Springs, Del Rio, Uvalde, Eagle Pass, you're looking at cloudy skies this morning. And I think it'll be mostly cloudy first half of the day and then partly cloudy as we head into the afternoon. 68 Bernie Sage, Helotes just updated, 71 there, 71 in Randolph, 74 in New Braunfels, 69 Canyon Lake in our KSAT 12-hour forecast, 79 noontime. We'll take it up to 85 this afternoon. Sound familiar? Yeah, that's where we've been last few days. Not much changes today until we get into tonight. Clouds begin to fill in around 8, 9 o'clock. And then as we get into the overnight hours, we'll begin to add in some rain chances. And here's why. That front that I've been talking about finally gets close enough to where it starts to spark off some showers and storms in the hill country initially. This is around 10 p.m. tonight. And then by midnight, we're starting to see a little bit more activity. So places like Kerrville, Bernie, you have a little better shot at seeing some rain. And this is an area, by the way, that's been hit very hard by drought. So this is not a bad thing. I'm not saying we're going to get a ton of rain out of this because I don't think we will, but there is at least the potential. And we're going to bring rain chances up to 30%. As far as severe weather, I don't think it's really in the cards. We can't rule out a strong storm, but I don't think widespread severe weather is going to be a problem. And then by 4 a.m., some of those showers may work a little bit closer to San Antonio before the rain chances pretty much go away, and then some cooler air tries to filter in behind this front during the day on Friday. And we'll get some clearing late on Friday. The clouds will start to break up, and Friday afternoon should be fairly nice. It's just a one-day thing, though, because by the time we get into Saturday, humidity comes right back in. So the dew point trend as we get into tomorrow, it does fall off. This is 7 a.m. tomorrow. The dew points fall off into the 50s, which is a little more pleasant. Again, this is brief because moisture surges in again by Saturday morning. And the temperatures, a lot of back and forth here because not only do we have the front tomorrow, but we've got another one on Sunday. So 85 today, 73 Friday. We're back up to 87 on Saturday. Then we start to fall again on Sunday, and then a little bit below average Monday and Tuesday. Also, if you're heading down to the beach, a lot of people are. I know spring break is here. Here's what you can expect. 81 Saturday, 88 Sunday. But that front, that same one that we've been talking about on Sunday, also moves through all the way to the coast on Monday. So it's going to cool things down. There is a chance for some showers there, too. The bays will be choppy. You'll see the seas pick up a little bit. So Saturday and Sunday maybe not bad, but it'll be a little bit cool on Monday. And here's the important part. Water temperature anywhere from 71 to 74. It's a little chilly, but it's not going to stop folks down there from having a good time. 87 again Saturday, 82 Sunday. Once we spring forward, and then a little cooler to start spring break next week. Low 70s Monday and Tuesday. Notice the lows, too. We've dropped down into the 40s by Tuesday morning. Then we start to moderate. Looks like we could see some rain chances by the end of spring break. But again, for those who are visiting, not a bad forecast, but just be aware there's going to be some ups and downs with the temperatures.
If you're visiting this week, not bad. If you're visiting next week, even better.
Yeah, looks nice.
Yeah.
No complaints for me.
Yeah.
Thank you, Justin.
Well, right now it is 9:20.
The stars are about to shine bright after the break. Some of the movie greats who are breaking records and making history this year at the Oscars.
The 95th Academy Awards are already breaking records.
As we look ahead to Oscar Sunday, ABC's Melissa Adon shares what milestones are being reached.
Okay, Coda.
Nearing a century, the Oscars has history. During the 5th Academy Awards, Walt Disney won his first ever golden statue. He would then go on to win many more times with a record 59 nominations. But one iconic man is right behind him.
You get a John Williams score and people lock in.
At age 90, John Williams is the oldest living Oscar nominee with 53 nominations, including his latest Best Original Score for The Fabelmans, which is also up for Best Picture.
The lights change how everything looks.
Steven Spielberg breaking his own personal records. His nomination for The Fabelmans is his 12th as a producer, and he now ties for having directed the most Best Picture nominees ever. 13 of them.
Oh my God, Steven Spielberg is an icon. He's a legend. Steven Spielberg has given us so many movie moments.
Judd Hirsch is the second oldest acting nominee. It's also been decades since he was nominated.
Like a guy who just does one great scene in a movie, getting a supporting actor nomination. And yeah, it's been what, 42 years since he got his last nomination? There's hope for all of us.
While Everything Everywhere All at Once leads with 11 nominations, they could make history to be the first film to win Best Picture, Best Director, a Screenplay Award, and 3 acting prizes.
Everyone who gets nominated has a personal story that's really moving. That's the fun of the Oscars. It's the thing everyone dreams about.
On Sunday night, more dreams will come true. Melissa Adon, ABC News, Los Angeles.
I read somewhere that conductor John Williams, who's famous for soundtracks like Indiana Jones and Star Wars, he's doing one more score. It's for the Indiana Jones 5,
wow,
which is called The Dial of Destiny. Comes out in June, and then he's calling it a career.
And that's it. Well,
that's it.
Should be a good one then.
Yep, Indiana Jones and The Dial of Destiny. Look for the music coming near you. 9:26, 72 degrees. There's more ahead on GMSA at 9.
Ahead in our next half hour, JetBlue's plan to acquire Spirit Airlines could be in for a bumpy ride. We're learning about the legal trouble and the impact it could have on you.
Looking at TransGuide right now, no problems at 1604 and Pat Booker, and a really close-up view at 281 at North St. Mary's and 410 at W.W. White.
Welcome back. It's 9:29. Looking out there with live cam. Now we're at 72 degrees. It started a little humid, but I am looking forward to the changes, Justin.
At least some small changes head our way. A couple of fronts to talk about in the forecast. And if you're planning on traveling, a lot of people headed out of town or maybe visiting San Antonio, I want to show you some of the flight delays across the country. There are some. The biggest is out in San Francisco, where they're having very strong winds there. It is putting down some big delays. So if you're going out west, that's going to probably cause a problem. DFW is reporting some delays as well. And there's some de-icing going on across places like Minneapolis and Rapid City where there's some snow. Otherwise, rest of the country is doing okay at this hour. I want to show you a great picture here on our KSAT Connect. This is from Susanna. This is San Fernando Cathedral. It's that laser show. If you've ever seen it, it's very, very cool. Unfortunately, right now it's not going on because of scaffolding, but it's a very cool sight to see here in San Antonio. Susanna, we appreciate that picture as always. And let's go outside for you one more time. Mostly cloudy skies and 72 degrees at the airport. Mostly cloudy, south-southeasterly winds at 8. In your KSAT 12-hour forecast, by noontime, close to 80. And we're topping out near 85 this afternoon. Partly cloudy a little bit later tonight. Guys.
Thank you, Justin. Let's look at the roads with TransGuide. Looking over at I-37 at Loop 410. Things are moving there as well as I-37 at Pecan Valley.
Some of the top stories we're following this morning. A Bexar County judge denied Michelle Barrientos Vela's request for new trial. The ruling came after Judge Velia Meza heard arguments from the former constable's attorneys. Barrientos Vela's team tried to make a case based on flubbed testimony from a Texas Ranger, along with jurors allegedly sleeping and coughing during key moments of last year's trial. Barrientos Vela was sentenced to 5 years probation and 90 days in jail for tampering with a local park's security payment logs.
And the big question many have been wondering about is what can be done about a home with a history of issues reported to police or other authorities, such as the home where dogs lived that attacked and killed an elderly man last month. Now, we took that question to several city departments yesterday. Police had more than 100 calls for service tied to the home over the course of 2 years, and Animal Care Services had a dozen of its own 311 calls. There were even some code issues, though Development Services say they were not serious. The city attorney's office does coordinate a dangerous assessment response team to tackle nuisance properties with documented history of problems, but a city spokeswoman says this property would not have been a DART inspection because the typo calls for service do not meet what's required by state law.
Meanwhile, San Antonio police have launched a new investigation following that deadly dog attack over on the west side. Witnesses in the area now say they are victims of intimidation and threats. They say their efforts to shed light on vicious dogs and their owners has resulted in them becoming targets. The home on Depla Street, where a man in his 70s was recently mauled, was visited by police more than 100 times over a 2-year period.
Our department will not tolerate allegations of retaliation. We take those calls very serious. We encourage the residents, please call us. We will fully investigate those cases.
Police Chief William McManus and District 5 Councilwoman Terry Castillo have met with residents on Depla Street over their concerns. They say anyone connected to threats against witnesses could face a felony charge.
And now to the latest regarding Harlandale ISD. The district is proposing to close multiple elementary schools to avoid potential layoffs.
Board members say the school district continues to see a decline in enrollment and attendance, meaning less funding. Camelia Juarez tells us what options the district is considering.
Parents and teachers were shocked to learn that 4 elementary schools could be closing.
It's unfortunate because it's a really good school. We're all really sad that it's closing.
But the district says its hands are tied. If nothing is done now, then the district would lose money in the 23-24 school year.
The conversation next year could be very different. It could mean layoffs for our staff.
All Texas school districts generate revenue through student attendance and enrollment, as well as property taxes. Since 2013, Harlandale has seen a sharp decline in students. Projections show that the decline will continue over the years. That's attributed to the decline in birth rate and lack of growth happening in the area.
If you look at Harlandale ISD, we're kind of landlocked, and so we really can't grow in any direction. There aren't very many residential developments being built around Harlandale, and the ones that aren't really going to help our situation.
The superintendent says there are other solutions to overcome the financial deficit, but it's not a popular idea.
He starts telling the staff, really what I should do is close one of the high schools, and then that would just be the $12 million. But he's not going to do that. We understand that that's something that can't be done.
The district says if schools are consolidated, teachers will be transferred to other schools.
I don't like it at all, but I understand that it has to be done.
That was Camelia Juarez reporting. If you want to voice your opinion, you can do so in person on the 20th at the STEM Early College High School or virtually on the 21st.
A final decision will not be made until March 27th.
Well, now to consumer headlines. Trade between the U.S. and the rest of the world grew in January, a sign that the world economy started 2023 stronger than expected. Imports into the U.S. are up 3% to nearly $326 billion, and exports rose nearly 3.5%. The increases driving the trade gap up 1.6%.
There are now nearly as many women as men in the workforce after 4 straight months of women picking up more jobs than men. They now hold 49.8% of all non-farm jobs, and experts say more women in the labor market could help ease worker shortages.
Federal investigators taking a look at a new problem with Tesla's Model Y vehicles. There are 2 reports of steering wheels coming off while driving. Those 2 were apparently delivered without a critical bolt in the steering column.
JetBlue's plan to acquire Spirit Airlines is in legal trouble. Last summer, Spirit Airlines agreed on a proposal to sell itself to JetBlue for nearly $4 billion.
But on Tuesday, the Justice Department announced a lawsuit blocking the proposal. The DOJ lawsuit marks the first time in more than 2 decades the government has tried to block an airline merger.
CNN's Shelley Molosky explains what the roadblock means for you.
The merger between Spirit and JetBlue has hit major legal turbulence. The Justice Department filed a lawsuit Tuesday to block JetBlue's acquisition of the budget airline.
We allege that if allowed to proceed, this merger will limit choices and drive up ticket prices for passengers across the country.
So what does that mean for you? Travel expert Scott Keyes says the merger is harmful for consumers, saying less airlines competing for your business could translate to higher airfares, and the merger could likely drag on in the legal system.
The matter will go likely to federal court. JetBlue indicating that they would sue to allow the merger to go through, to block the government's action.
The Justice Department points out that Spirit's lowest bottom line business model, which charges customers extra for everything, including carry-on bags, is what forces larger carriers to offer a percentage of their seats at the lowest possible price to compete.
The impact of this merger will be particularly harmful for travelers who rely on what are known as ultra-low-cost carriers in order to fly.
Meanwhile, JetBlue argues the nearly $4 billion deal would actually lead to cheaper flights, saying the merger would create a new, stronger competitor to the four larger airlines. In a statement, JetBlue CEO said the Justice Department got it wrong, saying, quote, "There's too much at stake for the DOJ to prevent us from bringing the JetBlue difference to more customers in more markets." For Consumer Watch, I'm Shelley Malashi.
JetBlue has vowed to press on with its merger efforts.
They hope to defeat the lawsuit in time to still close its deal with Spirit by the end of the year.
We'll keep you posted. Right now, 9:38, 72 degrees. You're watching GMSA at 9.
Good news if you're looking for a deal. Just ahead, some things you need to look out for in the month of March.
It may be after President's Day and before the spring sales, but March still has plenty of deals and bargains to offer. Deal News took a look at what to expect this month from retailers and where to find the best bargains. Look for sales on travel gear like Jeep-branded spinner luggage at Macy's starting at just $100. And last year, the outdoor retailer Sierra knocked as much as 70% off some luggage and travel accessories. With winter winding down, you may also find deals on winter sports items. REI slashed prices last March on camping and hiking gear, and Amazon has also discounted some sports and outdoor equipment. Retailers are also looking to clear out space for spring apparel, so that means discounts on winter clothing. Deal News recommends checking Macy's for deals on coats. It says coats could be discounted by as much as half at the chain. Also check Land's End for big savings on some winter coats and jackets. And with people gearing up for spring cleaning, you may even find sales on vacuums and other items to help you clean up and declutter. For more on where to find the biggest bargains in March, check out the full story at dealnews.com.
Welcome back. It's 9:43. No spring cleaning for me.
No.
Just saying.
Gonna opt out?
Yeah, I'll opt out this year.
Read the
No,
fine print.
no thanks. No thanks.
Gotcha. Understood. Yes, ma'am.
I'm with you on that
Right?
one. Just not in the mood.
Yeah.
No.
Let's enjoy the weather instead.
Yes, let's. Today is going to be kind of like the last several days. Nothing changes, but tomorrow we do finally get some changes. And of course, it is Drought Monitor Day. You know, I'm getting kind of tired of showing this, honestly, because it is the same old thing. We need some rain. We need it in the worst way. And it hasn't come to us. The Drought Monitor shows that we're still in exceptional drought. This was last week. And let me fast forward to this week. Notice nothing changes. Kendall County, one of the hardest hit here with lack of rainfall. And I know we're begging for it. There is a little bit in the forecast tonight. And speaking to that, maybe you're going to float the river. It's about that time of year where we start talking about this. What do the stream flows look like? If you remember Guadalupe last year, we struggled. We got down to 0 stream flow for a while in some spots, especially around Spring Branch there. So this year, this is where we stand. It's not great, but it is flowing. You would expect it to this time of year. Now we get into the summer and there's lack of rainfall. It'll be a different story. But the stream flow is about 31 feet per cubic second there in Comfort. 20 at Spring Branch, 63 there in New Braunfels. You compare it to what it looked like a year ago. It is down. It is down. This drought is really taking its effect on area rivers, lakes, you name it. But that's the situation if you do plan to go out and float the river. Temperatures could be a little bit chilly as we get into early next week. Not cold, but in the low 70s. Right now, though, it's warm and humid. We've got partly cloudy to mostly cloudy skies here over San Antonio with more cloud cover out west. And let me show you the forecast with regards to rain. Nothing today, but a frontal boundary sinks a little bit closer to us later tonight. This model does generate some showers and maybe a storm or two along that front. This is around 10 o'clock tonight, so we'll be watching for that. I think about a 20% chance, and that's mainly going to be in the hill country initially. Then these storms try to work or ease a little bit further south by midnight. This shows some rain maybe around Kerrville and Bernie, and then on some of these showers may eventually work their way towards San Antonio early tomorrow morning. We'll keep a close eye on the radar for you if anything does develop. I don't think severe weather is going to be a big problem here. There could be a strong storm involved there, but I think mainly it's just some rain. We'll take that. 30% chance through about sunrise tomorrow. Then the rain chances will drop off, and we'll get some cooler, drier air working in behind this front. So tomorrow will feel a little bit different. It's a one-day thing because by Saturday, moisture and warmth spread right back in. 76 to 11 o'clock, 79 noontime, 82 by 1 p.m. We're in the mid-80s later today, and then by tonight, clouds begin to build, and then it's after 10 o'clock, maybe towards midnight, then we start to add in those rain chances. Here's a look at the forecast highs tomorrow. If you're planning out your Friday, 73 here in town, not bad. 70s in the hill country. It is going to be quite a bit warmer as you get down towards Pearsall and Carrizo Springs. There's going to be kind of a spread of temperatures because of that front, where it ends up, where it stalls out. But I think San Antonio will be on the cooler side of things with highs in the low 70s. And as we go outside for you right now, some blue skies starting to shine through, and temperatures 74 at the airport, 73 Stinson and Kelly, 71 at Randolph. And again, there's a look at the satellite picture, and with the clouds already beginning to break up, we'll probably get into the 80s pretty quickly, probably by lunchtime. And then 75 right now in New Braunfels, 68 Kerrville. It is cloudier out near Del Rio and Uvalde, where you're checking in right around 70 degrees. Here in town, it's mainly low to mid 70s. So here's the extended forecast. Let's go 74 tomorrow, as we said, 87 on Saturday. So that's that kind of turnaround. Moisture comes right back in, just to go away again on Sunday after another front comes through. So a lot of back and forth next 3 or 4 days. But by Monday, Tuesday, we're in the low 70s. It'll feel pretty nice. Low humidity both days. We'll have morning lows in the 40s and 50s, so that's kind of chilly. But then by the end of next week, we'll be watching for some spring-like storms, something to keep an eye on, maybe Thursday of next week. We'll keep you posted there.
If you go to a coat rack at anybody's house these days, there's light jacket, rain jacket, heavy jacket, maybe a vest, whatever else.
Yes.
I mean, got to keep all our options open.
Yes, we have everything out. Rain jackets there, hopefully.
We'll embrace it, because by the time we get into, May and June, it's going to be same thing every day.
Yes, sir.
That is true. That's when I put them away.
That's right.
Not till then. 9:47, 73 degrees.
When we come back, we'll look at the preparations underway for the Academy Awards this weekend and what new things we can expect.
In today's Tech Bites, Spotify's major redesign. The revamped Spotify mobile app features a new home where listeners can preview music, podcasts, and audiobooks. There's also a smart shuffle mode for playlist recommendations. Some new features are only available to subscribers. Ring is out with a beefed-up version of its battery-operated video doorbell. The camera features a high-resolution head-to-toe field of view. It also features a battery life up to 3 times higher than the original. The Battery Doorbell Plus is available now for pre-order. The search engine DuckDuckGo just launched a new artificial intelligence feature, but it's not quite a chatbot. It's called Duck Assist. The tool uses AI to scan Wikipedia and then generate quick answers to your questions, like, what are some good duck jokes? But all I got back were some wisecracks. Those are your Tech Bites.
And tomorrow on GMSA, we are kicking off a new series. It's called Gardening with KSAT. And you're not going to want to miss what Sarah Costa is doing outside our station with our new KSAT garden.
Only 3 more nights to go to Hollywood's biggest night of the year.
And this morning, we are learning some new details about Sunday night's Oscar ceremony.
ABC's Will Gann shares those details.
If you thought the gloves were off at last year's Oscars, oh, wow! Wait until you see what Jimmy Kimmel thinks about Sunday night's ceremony.
This year, maybe 2 people will come up stage and head, and maybe in the future it'll be 3, 4, and it'll just be eventually it'll be everyone rushing the stage and slapping whoever's on.
The Academy has a newly formed crisis team in place after last year's Will Smith incident, and this year's host is feeling confident that that will help.
I think the decision to go with a champagne carpet rather than a red carpet shows how confident we are that no blood will be shed.
The Oscars has had a red carpet every year since 1961, but this year's champagne color isn't the only big change.
In past years, it was harder because most people hadn't seen most of the movies, and this year you got at least 4 movies that most everyone who's interested in movies has seen. So it makes the references easier. You know who the actors are, and of course Tom Cruise will be there. So I mean,
let's talk about the Cruise factor.
Yeah.
I got to imagine you'll have a little fun with Tom.
I will, for sure. I always have fun with Tom, and fun will be had with Tom on Sunday night.
Fun with Tom Cruise, but not with Lady Gaga. After tons of speculation, the Academy announcing on Wednesday that Gaga will not perform her nominated hit from Top Gun.
After a bunch of back and forth, it didn't feel like she can get a performance to the caliber that we're used to with her, that she's used to and all that stuff. So she is not going to perform on the show.
No Gaga and definitely no Damon.
Matt Damon was not invited, was not nominated, and I hope he's never invited or nominated again.
Will Gans, ABC News, New York.
And you can watch the Oscars on Sunday night at 7 p.m. right here on KSAT 12, followed by the Night Beat.
And speaking of movies, the trailer for Owen Wilson's Bob Ross-inspired movie was just released.
While the similarities to Ross's TV show The Joy of Painting are unmistakable, Wilson plays a fictional character named Carl Nargle. So he also has a show on PBS, but he's got competition from another TV painter that heats up.
Nargle also appears to be a much more flawed character than Ross as he tries to stay on top of the TV painting world. The film's writer and director promises Nargle finds redemption, so the movie is being called a dramedy. Paint hits theaters April 7th.
Interesting. Carl Nargle. Okay, let's look out there with TransGuide. A big old mess on Highway 90 at Couples. This is eastbound where there was an accident.
That's right. So Justin was pointing this out to us. There was a disabled vehicle on one side of the freeway, and then all of a sudden we have an accident. And this just happened within the last 5 or 10 minutes. So people are still moving around that scene. Doesn't look like first responders are out there quite yet, and they're trying to move those vehicles off the main lanes as soon as possible. But again, this is eastbound 90 at Couples Road.
And you can see the sun starting to shine through there. Temperatures now up to 74 here in San Antonio. We'll be up around 85 this afternoon. We'll watch, though, for a few showers, maybe a storm tonight as a front comes through, mainly north of town. But there could be some activity on radar. Meteorologist Adam Caskey will be here, or Mia Montgomery actually will be here tonight to keep you updated on what's going on. 74 tomorrow, a little cooler on your Friday, warm on Saturday, another front on Sunday, so a lot going on there in this 7-day forecast.
Okay, it looks like a Hero truck and maybe one other vehicle are out there now
good.
assisting
I see that as well.
at eastbound 90 at Couples.
All right, good news. You guys have a great Thursday.